Good morning, spiritual companions. We are reading the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, continuing chapter 1 on page 137. The Master says to Kedar, "You must have heard about the tremendous power of faith. It is said in the Purana that Rama, who was God himself, the embodiment of the absolute Brahman, had to build a bridge to cross the sea to Ceylon. But Hanuman, his devotee, trusting in Rama's name, cleared the sea in one jump and reached the other side. He had no need of a bridge." All laugh. Once a man was about to cross the sea. Bibhishana wrote Rama's name on a leaf, tied it in a corner of the man's wearing cloth, and said to him, "Don't be afraid. Have faith and walk on the water. But look here, the moment you lose faith, you will be drowned." The man was walking easily on the water. Suddenly, he had an intense desire to see what was tied in his cloth. He opened it and found only a leaf with Rama's name written on it. "What is this?" he said to himself. "Just the name of Rama?" As soon as doubt entered his mind, he sank under the water. If a man has faith in God, then even if he has committed the most heinous sins, such as killing a cow, a Brahmin, or a woman, he will certainly be saved through his faith. Let him only say to God, "O Lord, I will not repeat such an action," and he need not be afraid of anything. When he had said this, the Master sang, "If only I can pass away repeating Durga's name, how canst thou then, O Blessed One, withhold deliverance from me, wretched though I am? I may have stolen a drink of wine, or killed an unborn child, or slain a woman or a cow, or even caused a Brahmin's death. But though it all be true, nothing of this can rouse in me the slightest trace of fear. For through the power of thy sweet name, my wretched soul may still aspire, even to Brahman's realm." Pointing to Narendra, the Master said, "You all see this boy. He behaves that way here, but he is quite another person when he plays in the Chandi. A naughty boy seems very gentle with his father." Narendra and people of his type belong to the class of the ever-free. They are never entangled in the world. When they grow a little older, they feel the awakening of inner consciousness and go directly toward God. They come to the world only to teach others. They never care for anything of the world. They are never attached to woman and gold. The Vedas speak of the Homa bird. It lives up high in the sky, and there it lays its egg. As soon as the egg is laid, it begins to fall, but as it is so high up that it continues to fall for many days. As it falls, it hatches, and the chick falls. As the chick falls, its eyes open, it grows wings. As soon as its eyes open, it realizes that it is falling and will be dashed to pieces on touching the earth. Then it at once shoots up toward the mother bird on high, in the sky. At this point, Narendra left the room. Kedar, Prankrishna M., and many others remained. "Master, you see, Narendra excels in singing, playing on instruments, study, in everything. The other day he had a discussion with Kedar and tore his arguments to shreds." All laugh. To M, "Is there any book in English on reasoning?" M, "Yes, sir, there is. It is called Logic." Master, "Tell me what it says." M was a little embarrassed. He said, "One part of the book deals with deduction from the general to the particular. For example, all men are mortal. Scholars are men. Therefore, scholars are mortal. Another part deals with the method of reasoning from the particular to the general. For example, this crow is black. That crow is black. The crows we see everywhere are black. Therefore, all crows are black. But there may be a fallacy in a conclusion reached that way, for on inquiry one may find a white crow in some country. There is another illustration. If there is rain, there is or has been a cloud. Therefore, rain comes from a cloud. Still another example. This man has 32 teeth. That man has 32 teeth. All men we see have 32 teeth. Therefore, men have 32 teeth. English logic deals with such inductions and deductions. Sri Ramakrishna barely heard these words. While listening, he became absent-minded, so the conversation did not proceed far. When the meeting broke up, the devotees sauntered in the temple garden. M went in the direction of the Panchavati. It was about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. After a while, he returned to the master's room. There, on the small north veranda, he witnessed an amazing sight. Sri Ramakrishna was still standing, surrounded by a few devotees. Narendra was singing. M had never heard anyone except the master sing so sweetly. When he looked at Sri Ramakrishna, he was struck with wonder, for the master stood motionless, with eyes transfixed. He seemed not even to breathe. A devotee told M that the master was in samadhi. M had never before seen or heard of such a thing. Silent with wonder, he thought, is it possible for a man to be so oblivious of the outer world in the consciousness of God? How deep must he be in his faith and devotion to bring about such a state? Narendra was singing, Meditate, O my mind, on the Lord Hari, the stainless one, pure spirit through and through. How peerless is the light that shines in him. How soul-bewitching is his wondrous form. How dear is he to all his devotees. Ever more beauteous in fresh blooming love that shames the splendor of a million moons. Like lightning gleams the glory of his form, raising erect the hair for very joy. The master shuddered when this last line was sung. His hair stood on end, and tears of joy streamed down his cheeks. Now and then his lips parted in a smile. Was he seeing the peerless beauty of God that shames the splendor of a million moons? Was this the vision of God, the essence of spirit? How much austerity and discipline, how much faith and devotion must be necessary for such a vision? The song went on. Worship his feet in the lotus of your heart, with mind serene and eyes made radiant. With heavenly love, behold that matchless sight. Again that bewitching smile, the body motionless as before, the eyes half shut, as if beholding a wonderful inner vision. The song drew to a close. Narendra sang the last lines. Caught in the spell of his love's ecstasy, immerse yourself for evermore, O mind, in him who is pure knowledge and pure bliss. The sight of the samadhi and the divine bliss he had witnessed left an indelible impression on M's mind. He returned home deeply moved. Now and then he could hear within himself the echo of those soul-intoxicating lines. Immerse yourself for evermore, O mind, in him who is pure knowledge and pure bliss. The next day, too, was a holiday for M. He arrived at Dakshineswar at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Sri Ramakrishna was in his room. Narendra, Bhavanath, and a few other devotees were sitting on a mat spread on the floor. They were all young men of 19 or 20. Seated on the small couch, Sri Ramakrishna was smilingly talking with them. No sooner had M entered the room than the master laughed aloud and said to the boys, "There he comes again." They all joined in the laughter. M bowed low before him and took a seat. Before this he had saluted the master with folded hands, like one with an English education. But that day he learned to fall down at his feet in orthodox Hindu fashion. Presently the master explained the cause of his laughter to the devotees. He said, "A man once fed a peacock with a pill of opium at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The next day, exactly at that time, the peacock came back. It had felt the intoxication of the drug and returned just in time to have another dose." All laugh. M considered this an apt illustration. Even at home, he had been unable to banish the thought of Sri Ramakrishna for a moment. His mind was constantly at Dakshineswar, and he had counted the minutes until he should go there again. In the meantime, the master was having great fun with the boys, treating them as if they were his most intimate friends. Peals of side-splitting laughter filled the room as if it were a mart of joy. The whole thing was a revelation to M. He thought, "Didn't I see him only yesterday intoxicated with God? Wasn't he swimming then in the ocean of divine love? A sight I had never seen before. And today the same person is behaving like an ordinary man. Wasn't it he who scolded me on the first day of my coming here? Didn't he admonish me, saying, 'And you are a jnani?' Wasn't it he who said to me that God with form is as true as God without form? Didn't he tell me that God alone is real and all else illusory? Wasn't it he who advised me to live in the world unattached, like a maidservant in a rich man's house?" Sri Ramakrishna was enjoying the company of the young devotees. Now and then he glanced at M. He noticed that M sat in silence. The master said to Ramlal, "You see, he is a little advanced in years, and therefore somewhat serious. He sits quiet while the youngsters are making merry." M was then about 28 years old. The master said to Narendra and M, "I should like to hear you speak and argue in English." They both laughed, but they continued to talk in their mother tongue. It was impossible for M to argue any more before the master. Though Sri Ramakrishna insisted, they did not talk in English. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, all the devotees except Narendra and M took leave of the master. As M was walking in the temple garden, he suddenly came upon the master talking to Narendra on the bank of the goose pond. Sri Ramakrishna said to Narendra, "Look here, come a little oftener. You are a newcomer. On first acquaintance, people visit each other quite often, as is the case with a lover and his sweetheart." Narendra and M laugh. "So please come, won't you?" Narendra, a member of the Brahmo Samaj, was very particular about his promises. He said with a smile, "I shall try." As they were returning to the master's house, Sri Ramakrishna said to M, "When peasants go to market to buy bullocks for their plows, they can easily tell the good from the bad by touching their tails. On being touched there, some meekly lie down on the ground. The peasants at once recognize that these are without mettle, and so reject them. They select only those bullocks that frisk about and show spirit when their tails are touched. Narendra is like a bullock of this latter class. He is full of inner spirit." The master smiled as he said this and continued, "There are some people who have no grit whatsoever. They are like flattened rice soaked in milk, soft and mushy, no inner strength." It was dusk. The master was meditating on God. He said to M, "Go and talk to Narendra, then tell me what you think of him." Evening worship was over in the temples. M met Narendra on the bank of the Ganges, and they began to converse. Narendra told M about his studying in college, his being a member of the Brahmo Samaj, and so on. It was now late in the evening and time for M's departure, but he felt reluctant to go and instead went in search of Sri Ramakrishna. He had been fascinated by the master's singing and wanted to hear more. At last he found the master pacing alone in the Nat Mandir in front of the Kali temple. Lamps were burning in the shrine room on either side of the image of the Divine Mother. A single lamp in the spacious Nat Mandir blended light and darkness into a kind of mystic twilight in which the figure of the master could be dimly seen. M had been enchanted by the master's sweet music. With some hesitation, he asked him whether there would be any more singing that evening. "No, not tonight," said Sri Ramakrishna after a little reflection. Then, as if remembering something, he added, "But I'm going soon to Balaram Bose's house in Calcutta. Come there, and you'll hear me sing." M agreed to go. "Master, do you know Balaram Bose?" M, "No, sir, I don't." "Master, he lives in Bosapara." M, "Well, sir, I shall find him." As Sri Ramakrishna walked up and down the hall with M, he said to him, "Let me ask you something. What do you think of me?" M remained silent. Again, Sri Ramakrishna asked, "What do you think of me? What percentage of the knowledge of God do I possess?" M, "I don't know exactly what you mean by percentage, but of this I am sure. Never before have I seen such knowledge, such ecstatic love, such faith in God, such renunciation, and such liberality anywhere." The master laughed. M bowed low before him and took his leave. He had gone as far as the main gate of the temple garden when he suddenly remembered something and came back to Sri Ramakrishna, who was still in the Nat Mandir. In the dim light, the master, all alone, was pacing the hall, rejoicing in the self, as the lion lives and roams alone in the forest. In silent wonder, M surveyed the great soul. "Master," to M, "what makes you come back?" M, "Perhaps the house you asked me to go to belongs to a rich man. They may not let me in. I think I had better not go. I would rather meet you here." Master, "Oh no, why should you feel like that? Just mention my name. Say that you want to see me, then someone will take you to me." M nodded his assent and, after saluting the master, took his leave. End of chapter, end of today's reading.